Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up all products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Valentine's Day in Geno City is set to be an eye-opener for young and restless viewers who are about to see some kindling couples they didn't necessarily have on their 2025 bingo cards. Young and Restlessly is destined to find her true love this year, and we have a hunch as to who it might be. Given this, Y&R set for jaw-dropping Damon twist, and the sneak peek photo from the day before Valentine's Day that left us with a whole lot more questions than answers about these two, as Lily and Damon have their intriguing encounter inside Crimson Lakes. In the episode leading into Valentine's Day, there's another twom having a run-in on the patio. It's Damien's right-hand man Holden, and none other than Nate's girlfriend Ander. If teasers from Nathan Owens or anything to go by, there's an excellent chance that Otter and Holden share a connection, and the photo below only adds fuel to that particular fire. Expect Geno City's most popular coffee shop to be a hot spot for close encounters of the Valentine's variety this year, as it's also the location in which its owner chooses to try and reignite the spark with the ex-husband she's been fantasizing about for months now. The place is filled with candles as Sharon finally takes Nick into her arms, perhaps in a romantic slow dance, and lets him know she still has feelings for him, although there's an outside chance the Sharon and Nick train could be getting back on track. Evidence suggests this might be a dream, Sharon's dream. You see Nick and Phyllis share scenes together in Crimson Lakes in the episode ahead of Valentine's Day, and there's not a candle in sight over at the old ranch house. It looks as though Chelsea's vow to keep Adam at arm's length is no match for the most romantic holiday of the year. Shadow like chick are and each other's arms, and it's an incredibly intense moment of closeness. This certainly can't be for Connor's benefit, so it must be real. Right, not so fast. We also have an encounter occurring at the very same ranch house between Adam and his other ex Sally. Given that we know she's in Paris with Chelsea's ex Billy, we can only conclude that this is all a part of someone's dream. Does Adam still have ally swirling in his subconscious? As we mentioned, Silly jetted off to the city of love for Valentine's Day. Why then are there photos of Billy and Phyllis holding each other and indulging in one of the most intimate slow dances we've seen in a hot minute? Again, we think Geno City's having one huge dreamy Valentine's Day, since we know Phyllis is not only hanging out with Nick in the coffee house in the prior episode, but Sally and Billy are definitely in Paris. New to set alert that said it appears that their trip may not be as lovey-dovey as Miss Spectra had in mind, given she's been spotted looking miffed about Billy's preoccupation with business and business partner Phyllis. Our question, which of the two was dreaming up the Philly slow dance? One thing's for sure, the sneak peeks are a sure sign that Young and Restless writers are using Valentine's Day to lay the groundwork for love triangles galore. As we head into the latter part of the month and February sweeps, let us know which couples have caught your eye in the comments. The winter air in Geno City was crisp and brimming with the kind of romance that only Valentine's Day could bring. The streets were lined with twinkling lights, storefronts adorned with red and pink hues, and the scent of fresh roses lingered in the air. But amid the city's romantic ambience, one question loomed large: would Nick Newman and Sharon Collins find their way back to each other on this fateful night? Nick had been wrestling with his emotions for weeks. The past year had been a roller coaster for him, filled with family drama, business battles, and the ever-complicated entanglements of the Newman dynasty. But despite everything, one person had remained the constant in his heart: Sharon, on the other hand, had spent the past few months focusing on herself after everything she had endured, the heartbreak, the losses, and the never-ending trials. She had sworn to carve out a life of independence. But deep down there was a part of her that always wondered, could she and Nick ever recapture what they once had as fate would have it? The universe had plans for them that neither saw coming. It all started with an innocent coincidence. Crimson Lights was busier than usual. Bustling with couples celebrating the holiday, Sharon had decided to close up early, giving her employees the night off. Just as she was about to lock up, the familiar chime of the cafe's doorbell rang. She turned around, dressed in a dark suit, his blue eyes twink under the dim cafe lights. He looked at her, a soft smile playing on his lips, and said, "I was hoping you'd still be here." He glanced around the empty cafe before stepping closer. "I guess I was just drawn here. Some habits never change," she chuckled, shaking her head. "Some things don't do." There was a silence between them, the kind that held years of history, heartache, and unresolved emotions. Finally, Nick cleared his throat and took a deep breath. "Sharon, I know this is sudden, but I couldn't let this day pass without seeing you." She met his gaze, searching for answers. "Why today, Nick?" "Memories and confessions." Nick leaned against the counter, his fingers tracing the rim of a coffee cup absent-mindedly. "Do you remember our first Valentine's Day together, back when we were just two kids crazy in love, with no idea what the future held?" Sharon smiled wistfully. "How could I forget? You surprised me with a candlelit picnic by the lake. We danced under the stars. I felt like the luckiest girl in the world." He nodded. "That was the happiest I'd ever been, and somehow, through everything we've been through, I keep coming back to that night, to you." Sharon swallowed hard. "Nick, we've been down this road so many times, and every time something happens that pulls us apart. Are we just fooling ourselves?" Nick took a step closer, his voice low and full of emotion. "Maybe, or maybe we've just been too scared to admit what's been in front of us all along." She exhaled, feeling the weight of his words. "And what's that?" He reached for her hand, his touch sending a jolt through her. "That you and I belong together, that no matter where life takes us, we always find our way back to each other, and I don't want to fight that anymore." The air between them crackled with unspoken words Sharon had spent so long guarding, her heart afraid to hope for something that might crumble again. But standing here, looking into the eyes of the man she had loved for so many years, she felt something stir inside her, a flicker of the past, a whisper of the future. "Nick, if we do this, it has to be different this time. No half measures, no doubts." His grip tightened around her fingers. "I know, and I'm ready." For a moment, they just stood there, taking in the magnitude of what was happening, and then, as if drawn together by fate itself, Nick leaned in and pressed a soft, lingering kiss to her lips. It was a kiss that spoke of years long lost and loved, never forgotten. When they finally pulled away, Sharon smiled through the tears in her eyes. "So what now?" Nick grinned. "How about we start with dinner and take it one step at a time?" She nodded, her heart feeling lighter than it had in years. "I'd like that." As they walked out of Crimson Lights together, hand in hand, the city lights seemed to shine a little brighter, as if celebrating the love story that had come full circle once again.